Erik Lindbergh on the other side. That's right. Charles Lindbergh, grandson, is here, and the Lindbergh Foundation has made its way back to St. Louis. He moved it back earlier this year. He's got a lot of plans coming up. We are about 18 months away from celebrating the 100th anniversary of Charles Lindbergh's Spirit of St. Louis flight. So we will talk with Erik on the other side. So we're going to talk to Erik Lindbergh. He is the he's the grandson of Charles Lindbergh. He is a pilot, an adventurer. He's the chairman of the Lindbergh Foundation. He's a leader in electronic aviation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Erik Lindbergh to the show. Erik, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
I'm better now. I'm talking to you. Did you have a great Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah, good family, good food, and I got my exercise in yesterday before I ate, so I felt perfect. It was
now, did
my
you do
favorite holiday.
Did you do like Daniel? Did you go out and run a 5K before you went to eat?
I rode my bike for an hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was just perfect.
That's a way to do it. I mean, you burn the calories before you eat the calories. I like that. That's a smart way. See, that's why you're the smart guy, and I'm the guy who has you on the radio, because we're going to try to get a little smarter today.
Well, you're giving me too much credit, Mike. I actually eat more after I exercise, so that there's a little problem there.
There's a method to the madness, though, so that works out well. Hey, I want to start
you gotta
off.
keep moving.
I want to start off by introducing folks who don't know it. Tell us a little bit about the Lindbergh Foundation. What is it all about, and how did it get back here to St. Louis?
Thank you. Well, the Lindbergh Foundation was really started by Neil Armstrong and the Apollo astronauts, like Apollo 13 Commander Jim Lovell and Wally Schirra. And they were at the Explorers Club, and they implored my grandmother to continue really looking at the balance between our civilization's needs and technology and preservation of the environment, because my grandparents flew over the Earth from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and saw firsthand that this technology that could connect us could harm our quality of life. And then the astronauts went and saw it, this overview perspective from space. And they said, this is really important. So the foundation was started in 1977. And for most of our history, we gave grants and awards and education programs. And, we were sitting around during COVID when everything shut down. And we decided we should do something for the 100th anniversary. And we also decided, since we were sort of virtual at that point, we should move to St. Louis.
That's a great idea. Everybody should do that.
Well, it was great. We moved in 2004. The community has been incredibly welcoming, and we've got to meet, Governor Mike Kehoe and Senator Eric Schmidt, and Wesley Bell and Kara Spencer, and politicians, Sam Page, even you, Mike Elam.
Even me.
And I'll tell you what, everybody loves the fact that we're looking at, celebrating the 100th anniversary and doing that from St. Louis. This message that's going to go out to the world is coming from St. Louis.
So tell me a little bit about, since the last time you and I met in person over at 39 North, you have a new foundation director. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we just hired our first St. Louis native executive director in Ann Balsamo. Many of you know her as Ann Wiedemeyer Balsamo. She grew up in St. Louis and has spent time working at the St. Louis Science Center, which is near and dear to my heart, and Elasticity and Fleischman Hillard. So she's got a real firm basis, and she's helping us to operationalize our programs and vision for the 100th, which is great because we've been operating as a nonprofit with just a volunteer board and a working board, if you will, no paid staff. And that's hard to really scale that way. So now we are really operating with some high-octane fuel in our tank, which is great.
Well, talking about high-octane fuels, one of the things that you're working on is sustainable aviation fuels. Like, you're doing things that are supporting the aviation industry with getting into electronic flight and things like that. It's not just celebrating what your grandfather did. Like, you're building on that legacy with actual meaningful programs.
Yeah, we decided that we needed to leverage as much as we could with the 100th anniversary. We will have the world's eyeballs focused on us. And so in October of 2024, we brought the X Prize Foundation to 39 North, which is where our headquarters is in St. Louis, for a 2-day brain trust conclave that worked on incentive prize concepts. And so we did this for the ag tech industry first. And we surfaced 8 different prize concepts, and the winning prize, programmable plants, which uses an incentive prize to get people to come up with new and novel ways to get plants with desirable characteristics to shortcut the process it takes to do the natural growth and breeding process. So shortcut that by 10 years. That prize, the winning prize, programmable plants, was awarded $500,000 in X Prize funding in mid-2025, is now in the prize design process. So we had a hand in that, and X Prize leadership has expressed a strong interest in returning to St. Louis and engaging in this innovation community that's thriving in St. Louis. And so I jumped right there because we had been looking at sustainable aviation fuels and the role of ag tech in creating sustainable aviation fuels that would make aviation more carbon neutral. What's happened in sustainable aviation fuels, which we're still really engaged in, is that we've realized that it's probably not ag tech that's going to be the big breakthrough solution there. It's a short-term solution, but in the long term, it's really going to be power to liquid fuels. And so we're looking at creating sustainable aviation fuels using clean energy and atmospheric carbon. If we can do that, use carbon as a feedstock for aviation fuels, this will be a huge breakthrough and change the energy equation on the planet. So that's one of the prizes that we're looking forward to carrying with us on the 100th anniversary as we fly from San Diego, St. Louis. St. Louis is where our heartbeat is, to New York, and then to Paris. Carrying a vision of a future for the next generation that they can live into that's brilliant, that's sustainable. And we want to do that with this Spirit of St. Louis 100.
We're talking with Erik Lindbergh, and next year, before we get to 100, we're going to get to 99. You've got a special focus on the ladies in aviation coming up next year, don't you?
Absolutely. Well, this year we had the 98th anniversary, and unfortunately the tornado disrupted our venue, but we still had it, and it was great. It was an extraordinary, set the stage. You were there. Lots of our leaders were there, and the locals. For the 99th, we're going to have that anniversary celebrated at the Missouri History Museum. And since the 100th will be all about my grandfather, Charles Lindbergh, we're going to focus on my grandmother, Anne Morrow Lindbergh. She was an incredible aviator in her own right, was the first licensed female glider pilot, and flew as crew on 1931 survey flights around the world to China and back, and then over to Europe and Africa and over to South America and back up. So we're going to focus on her and then have established women aerospace leaders of today, recognizing the emerging women in aerospace for tomorrow. So super exciting to have that focus in our 99th anniversary. And of course, that's May 20 of 2026, which happens to be Women in Aerospace Day. So we're going to have a great time.
So, Erik, if people want to find out more about the foundation, how they can get more involved, I mean, obviously it's going to be exciting. We're only 18 months away, believe it or not, from the 100th anniversary. If they want to get involved, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, go to our website, which we're in the process of redoing, but it's got everything you need. And sign up for our mailing list, which will give you invites to the events and tell us when we're having our Epic STEM Challenge fly-off with local schools. It's where we have kids design, build, and fly electric airplanes on a tether and compete to carry weight or glide different tasks. So super exciting programming that we're building, all for St. Louis, so that we can showcase to the world that, that spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and exploration is thriving here in St. Louis.
Well, Erik, we appreciate you making some time, especially on a Black Friday, to tell us a little bit more about that. We look forward to getting more involved. I wish you the best on the 99th anniversary before we get to 100 and everything that you have going on. I'm excited about what that means for St. Louis, what you mean for St. Louis and putting the foundation here, and look forward to talking to you more about that as we go forward.
Fantastic. And thanks for your help, Mike. You've been a great asset for us in moving and growing the programs there in St. Louis.
We appreciate you. That is Erik Lindbergh. He is the grandson of Charles Lindbergh, and the Lindbergh Foundation has got a lot going on. So this next year to 18 months, you're going to see all kinds of stuff happening.